Our movie begins with Ben reflecting on his 2-year romance while breaking up with Susie. A week later, Ben notices his ex-girlfriend making out with another man. Although Ben's best friend Shang counsels him to find a new girlfriend and stop thinking about Susie, Ben continually calls Susie and attempts to win her back despite appearing to be inconsolable. Susie, however, declines, stating that she now has a boyfriend. Ben starts to get upset. Susie was not as simple to forget as he had thought because he kept seeing her in his mind. Ben could not handle the notion of ruining the precious memories and put the photos back in the drawer after he tried to forget about Susie by burning their joint images. Ben suffers sleeplessness all of a sudden. He tries everything to go asleep, but one day while checking out his midnight snacks, nothing appears to be working. Ben chooses to apply for a job that is advertised for a night shift in order to divert his attention from Susie. Ben, who has had sleeplessness for 2 weeks, is accepted as an employee by the store manager, Mr. Jenkins. In an effort to get through the monotony, Ben starts to believe he can halt time. Then, as though in a movie, he appears to be moving over a frozen landscape. Time appeared to slow around Ben, and his imagination became a reality. Only Ben was able to move normally because everyone else had been stopped as time slowed to a halt. Ben is an art student who is fascinated by the grace of women's curves. He did not waste this opportunity to accomplish his goals. He undressed the women and sketched them from every angle and shape imaginable. Once he was completed, he dressed each woman individually before breaking his fingers to return everything to normal. Sean visits Ben one day and attempts to convince him to break up with Susie, but Ben freezes time once more and reflects on their long friendship. He recalls the moment Sean showed him the adult magazines and how seeing the female body in detail confused and horrified him as a 12-year-old. Whiner erect when he returns to reality, Sean keeps persuading him to pick up a few natalies or girls you've had experience with but have no romantic feelings for. When he paid a senior student in his neighborhood to flash him while he was in the changing room as a young lad, Sean came up with the word. Sharon requests a taste of his sandwich politely. As she smiles at him and turns to leave, he gradually begins to see her in a different light. He attempts to slow time down while still remembering his moment with her. When Sharon Matt says they are going to the movies tonight, they make out. Ben is discouraged because he failed to get the girl he wants once more. Ben stops the time again to take a break one day while playing soccer with his coworkers. As he takes a sip of his drink, he hears someone move. He glances back and frowns because nothing should have moved when he stopped the time. He then finds that he isn't the only one who has the ability to pause time as a man in a gray hooded jacket suddenly appears. After the soccer game, Ben asks Sharon to share a cup of coffee with him. To inquire about Sharon's rendezvous with Matt, Ben intrigued musters all of his courage. Naturally, Sharon disputes all of Matt's claims, insisting that she was only a friend accompanying him to the movie. Sharon then admits that she is not in a relationship. Since it implies he still has a chance to get Sharon, Ben is pleased. Ben takes her home, and they close the night with an awkward first kiss. The next day, Mr. Jenkins decides to hold a weekend birthday celebration. Sharon immediately begs Ben to attend with her, and Ben readily accepts at work. Ben once more stops time and begins drawing Sharon repeatedly, capturing every curve and angle of her while he muses in the changing room on the potential for their future together. When Sharon asks Ben to pick her up at her apartment at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, she unexpectedly gives him a kiss on the lips. Ben observes a noticeable change in himself. A call from a prominent gallery wakes Ben awake and informs him that they are interested in his work and want him to bring more samples. After receiving the kiss, the insomnia that had been robbing him of sleep for years disappeared in an instant. He is surprised and nods quickly, not realizing that his coworkers were playing a practical joke on him on the other line. When Ben picks up Sharon, he tells her the good news about the gallery. When they arrive at Mr. Jenkins' birthday party, she congratulates him. Ben then suddenly runs into Susie, whose partner turns out to be Mr. Jenkins' younger brother, and they awkwardly part ways. When Ben is waiting in line to urinate, Susie had just left the restroom, so Ben attempts to act normal and introduces Sharon. Susie still cares about Ben and is unable to let him go because he is now with Sharon, so she wants to renew their romance. Ben chooses to turn down Susie. Susie, on the other hand, gives him an unexpected kiss, and when Sharon watches it, she is immediately miffed. Ben manages to explain to Sharon, but when she opens the door and slams it shut after screaming at him, he is unable to continue. Ben's quarrel with Sharon brings back the insomnia that had been absent ever since Sharon entered his life, and he resumes his previous routine of late nights and long days. Ben travels to the Proud Galleries for his appointment. Ben meets with Alex, the owner, to talk about his drawings. Ben tells Mr. Proud that he spoke with him on the phone a few days previously. On the other side, Mr. Proud claims that he never called him. When Ben is about to leave work, his coworkers play a joke on him. Mr. Proud decides to examine his sketches and displays an apparent interest. When Sharon finds the invitation to Ben's exhibition while reading through her emails, he decides to show Ben's work in his gallery. When Sharon first arrives to the exhibition, she is astounded to see every part of her beauty displayed on the walls. She tells Ben how impressed she is and lets him know she has started a new job at a travel agency. Ben then offers an apology for what transpired at the party, but she rejects him, arguing that the display is sufficient enough for an apology. Time pauses when Ben kisses her. Everyone has been frozen, which has left Sharon bewildered, but Ben grabs her hand and leads her outdoors as they stroll in the snowfall, where everything seems as gorgeous as they feel at the precise time. Sharon and Ben share the ideal kiss. This is how our movie ends. Tell us in the comments how you felt about this movie recap. See you in the following movie recap.